Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 64 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least 2 things every day that I don't want to do just because I know it's good for me. So yay for day 64 and only 36 days to go. And I'm just struggling to make my video tonight, which I just really don't want to have to keep making my video tonight. So take one, my camera decided it was just done. My phone decided it was full and I just needed to delete space, which I wished I'd figured out before I made the video, or I might be done with my video. And take two, I said some things I didn't mean to say. So not bad things at all. I just was oversharing. I need to not overshare. So I don't want to edit. So I don't want to have to edit things out. And I don't want to overshare, which I overshare all the time anyway. So I apologize. Anyway, so yesterday, day 63, I said I was going to put in the comments below the official name of what's wrong with my wrist from yesterday, and I forgot to do that, so I added it to yesterday's comments tonight, and I will tell you what it is today. It is extensor carpi ulnaris tendinopathy. There you go. Okay, so now after this being my third video, I think I realize why people actually write out and plan out exactly what they're going to say and do in their YouTube videos so that they have an idea and probably even practice it a few times, and then they have somebody edit it so they have this nice beautiful cut, and I don't do any of those things. And someday I think that maybe I will, but that's a lot of extra work and things I don't want to have to do, just like I don't want to have to make another video tonight. So I don't even want to deal with stuff that happened at work, but I did get a message from the doctor that saw my wrist about the blood pressure, and he's a different doctor than the doctor that's been seeing me for my ADHD and my blood pressure. And of course he wanted me, doctor from yesterday for my wrist, wanted me to check my blood pressure every day, and doctor I've been seeing for ADHD and blood pressure wants me to check it twice a week. So I was just stressing about all of it, and I finally just sent a message back to the doctor that saw my wrist, and I said, well, the doctor I'm like, thank you, I appreciate it, this is what I'm doing for my wrist, put some ice on it, put some deep blue on it, using the brace, it seems to be working, seems to be helping, and thanked him for that. And then I just let him know the other doctor is having me check my blood pressure twice a week, and I'm following up with him next week but I can check my blood pressure every day if you still want me to. And thankfully he responded back and said it was twice a week was fine. And I was like, good, I can just go back to what the one doctor's doing instead of having 2 different doctors monitoring my blood pressure, especially since they're both at work. And I'm like, I don't need all of that extra pressure at work, because that I think is part of the reason that stresses me out. I was talking to my Al-Anon J friend tonight, and we were talking about why my blood pressure is so much higher at work, and I realized it's part of the reason it gets higher when I go in to see the doctors is because it is the anxiety of the fact that these are people I work with, and that I have to leave my work to go there, which you would normally leave work to go to a doctor's office, but I am actually staying at work, just leaving my desk, and so I'm not doing work and technically not getting paid for when I'm sitting in the room having the discussion with the doctors, and then having to stay later to make up for the time that I left. And depending on where you work and what you do, if you have to leave for appointments, sometimes you have to make it up later in the week, or you just take it out of your PTO time or vacation time or sick time, depending on how your job works. So this is just different from any other job that I've had, and I haven't had a regular job where I had to report to people for over 3 years, so it's just really hard to get used to that. And so I still feel anxious and nervous, and it doesn't help that I have ADHD, it doesn't help that I have PTSD, so these are built-in things that I've been doing my entire life, and so it's hard to just let it go and to relax and be like, this is actually okay. So, but it does help. I think it's one of those Al-Anon things, 3 A's, awareness, acceptance, action. There we go. So the first thing I have to do is be aware of this is what's going on and accept that this is probably why my blood pressure is is getting higher, and then I need to take some kind of action to try to reduce that or to eliminate that. And for me, I think it's just going to take time. I just need to be gentle with myself, give myself time to adjust, and realize that maybe this is the perfect thing, that God has put me there in this perfect position to help me to learn something from this and to grow from this. And what it is, I'm not entirely sure, and I could sit here and guess and ramble on about, but I don't know. I do know that it's probably like my videos where I start out thinking it's going to be one thing and I'm going to learn something from it, and then by the time I get to the end, I have learned something completely different. And these videos, I was really afraid that I was going to spend all of my videos complaining because I'm doing things I don't want to do every day, and I did not want to do that. So it has helped me to find a positive spin on doing things I don't want to do. And I know I still have another 36 days to go, and who knows what new things I will learn in that amount of time. But right now I've noticed that I'm much happier. I have a more positive note. I don't complain as much about things as I used to, because I am learning that doing those things I don't want to do gets them done, and then I have a sense of accomplishment and I feel better about myself. And even though I'm not getting all the things done I thought I would do, or I'm not getting all the stuff crossed off my to-do list I thought I would cross off, I'm still doing things I don't want to do. And it does help me feel better. It does take that weight off my shoulders, that load off. It makes me feel a little bit lighter and a little bit more centered and a little bit more okay with who I am and where I'm at. And sometimes I do feel a little bit more stressed because I do still have my big, huge, long to-do list that I'm trying to get through. And I was like, I'm running out of time. I only have 36 days to do all of this. And it doesn't have to all be done in 36 days, but I'm trying to convince my brain of that is a whole nother story. So don't want to have to do that today. But I am grateful to talking things out with my Al-Anon J friend helped point those things out for me today. And I am grateful that I did choose, even though I didn't want to respond back to the doctor that looked at my wrist and let him know that I'm already working with a different doctor for my blood pressure, and be like, is it okay if I just keep doing what he's telling me to do, or do you want me to do what you're telling me to do? So I was able to just honestly put it out there and say I was willing to do either one, and just grateful that he came back with it was okay to just do what I was already doing. So I was like, okay, sometimes it's actually better to just speak up for myself, to just say this is what's going on, instead of stressing out about it or trying to do what everybody wants me to do and just making myself crazy. So I'm just really grateful to God for helping me do that today. And then I had an issue with a curtain rod I did not want to deal with. It's been falling down. It wasn't long enough to fit into, long enough to fit in the curtain, in the window sill like it's supposed to. So, not the window sill, but the window frame, supposed to fit in the window frame and hold up the curtain. And my friend put it in there, but you had to put it in like at an angle because it's not, it just doesn't fit because it's not long enough. So you had to get it at just the right angle to make it be like, tilted so it would fit, because it's just barely the width of the window. So I'm like, that's not helping. And then it's fallen down and I can't seem to get it to stay up. And I've been struggling with it for a few days now. So this morning when it was down again, I said, forget this. I'm just going to go to the store and buy a new curtain rod. So I went to the store and bought a new curtain rod after work, which I did not want to do, but I wanted the curtain rod because I just want my curtains to stay up in my kitchen. And then of course I came home and discovered that the curtain rod that I bought, it actually has this thing where you like twist it to make it longer so you can fit it to different lengths of windows. And I was like, fantastic. So of course, when it comes out of the package, it was like not even long enough for the window, but twisting it out, it actually, like the full length of it was longer than the window. So I had to find the happy medium in there to get it to fit. And I got it to fit nice and tight, steady. I was like, perfect. And then I tried to take the curtain rod out of my curtains. And in the process of trying to do that, I realized that it's the exact same type of curtain rod, like not the same colors, so it's not exactly the same, but it's the same type of curtain rod where you just have to twist it to make it longer. And all I had to do was twist the curtain rod that was already in my curtains and stick it back up in the window. And it was actually, I could make it long enough and it fits nice and tight right where I want it to. I don't have to fight it. It's not any of those things, and it's not falling out of my window. So, I am also just very grateful in that. And like, it's not something I wanted to deal with today, but I needed to be done. And so I did it, but I'm also grateful that I didn't beat myself up or call myself stupid for not realizing that the curtain rod I already had could be twisted and just fit in the window, because I had no idea. I didn't pull it out. I didn't experiment with it. I just assumed that that was the length that it was. I wasn't going to try to break it. I mean, I'm renting the place and it's somebody else's. It came with the house. I figured that's how it was supposed to be. And I never even asked my landlord about it. I just made the assumption. So that was bad on my part. And I had a friend and someone else like helping me put it in there, and they didn't catch on to that either. So neither one of us figured that one out. So I'm grateful that I figured it out. And then when I was writing in my journal, I had this reminder in my head of something that I wanted to do with a curtain rod. And I was super excited to realize that I'm like, now I have a curtain rod and I can try it. I don't know how well it's going to work, but now I can try it because I can put a curtain like in between the door for the living room and the kitchen to kind of possibly help with the sound from coming from the other side of the house, but mostly to just block the extra sunlight that comes from the kitchen into the living room that, bright and early, especially since summer is coming and the sun comes up at like 4 o'clock in the summertime, which I do not like. But at least it comes up at like 6:30 or 7 in the wintertime, which is better. So I don't like that it's at like 6:30 or 5:30 or 6 at night. But anyway, that doesn't matter. But this way I can try to hang up one of my curtains in the kitchen with the curtain rod. So I don't feel like I wasted the time buying the curtain rod, and I actually learned something from it. And it just made me really grateful that going that extra step, going out of the way to the store to get a curtain rod I didn't really want to have to buy, and grateful it didn't cost very much, and it's like $4, so it's not a big deal, and grateful that I was able to learn from that as well. So just very grateful to God for showing me that I can learn things from doing all these things that I don't want to do in my life, and also that I can get some kind of bonus from my I wouldn't really want to call it a mistake, but from learning something. So I'm like, obviously I didn't need the curtain rod. I just needed to learn how to use the one that I had. But because I did it through purchasing a new one, now I have an extra one that I can experiment with, and I'm excited about that. So I feel like it's an added blessing for taking the time and the effort to do something I didn't want to do today. And I'm just very grateful for that. And that is what I have for my video today. And if you like these videos, you could hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe find one or two things that you like, one or two things to do that you don't want to do, but you know would be good for you.